The sky over Asheville that afternoon was the kind of soft blue that makes you forget. People can be cruel. You'd think sunshine and champagne would keep the darkness out, but betrayal doesn't need bad weather. It only needs a stage. My name is Miles Harrington. And the moment that ended my marriage didn't come in a flurry of screams or a tearful confession at midnight. It arrived dressed in celebration, cloaked in gold light and expensive toasts. On a rooftop filled with people who thought they knew us. We were gathered for Sierra, our daughter, our pride, the anchor Delilah and I had held on to longer than we held each other. Her graduation day. A pinnacle I'd helped plan down to every detail, the floral arrangements, the school colors, the curated playlist, even the scalloped napkins Delilah insisted on. I wasn't expecting gratitude, but I damn sure wasn't expecting betrayal. To be served before dessert. 50 guests circled long tables, clinking glasses and laughing, oblivious to the crack forming in the concrete beneath my life. I sat at the center, smiling like a man who still believed the ground was solid. I should have seen it coming. There were signs. Delilah's distant eyes, the way her laughter no longer reached her chest when I spoke, the subtle glances she exchanged with Jasper Creed. I chalked it up to midlife drift, the kind of current every marriage sails through. But some currents don't pull you back to shore. Some sweep you out and leave you gasping. Delilah stood up, the chatter dimmed like a curtain dropping. She raised her champagne flute, elegant as ever in her cream dress, hair pinned in that deliberate, effortless way that made people mistake her control for grace. A toast, she said, and the clinking resumed as glasses lifted toward her. I looked up from my plate, wondering if she was going to embarrass Sierra with a long, sentimental speech. Instead, she cleared her throat, smiled, and detonated. I've decided to start a new life without you, just like that. No build-up. No preamble. The words hung there, absurd in their naked finality. At first, I thought maybe I'd misheard. But when Jasper shifted slightly beside her, and their fingers brushed, just for a second, but long enough, I knew I hadn't. Silence. Someone's fork hit their plate. A nervous laugh fluttered near the bar, but died quickly. All eyes turned to me. I didn't blink. I didn't flinch. I did what 26 years of marriage had trained me to do. I stayed composed. 1,000 thoughts flickered across the back of my eyes, but only one surfaced. You've prepared for this, Miles. I stood up slowly, smoothed my jacket, and pulled the envelope from my coat. It was a heavy one, legally and symbolically, cream-colored, matching the napkins she'd chosen. As if to say, I planned this moment too. I placed it beside her plate. I didn't shove it, didn't make a scene, just laid it down, like a quiet final move in a long, rigged game. For later, I said softly. She looked confused for a moment. Of course she did. Delilah had always been the type to control the script. The idea that I'd flipped to the final page without her knowledge must have stunned her. Her fingers curled slightly, as if tempted to open the envelope right there. But I didn't wait for the aftermath. I turned to Sierra. Her eyes were wide, confused, far too young to be witnessing the end of a family like this. I leaned in, kissed her forehead, and whispered just enough to keep her grounded. I'm proud of you, I said. No matter what. Then I walked out. No dramatic exit. No slammed doors. No shouted accusations. Just the quiet shuffle of a man reclaiming his story. My footsteps echoed across the rooftop tile, and I didn't look back. Let them whisper. Let them stare. Delilah had chosen her audience. She wanted a performance. What she didn't expect was that I had my own finale. Then a lawyer, smooth suits, quiet voice, the kind of gaze that saw everything, but he had teeth. He built his reputation on winning impossible divorce cases. When I handed him the file Clara and I had compiled, he didn't ask questions. He just nodded. You want revenge? He asked me once. No, I said. I want peace, but I won't beg for it. Malik drafted a motion for exclusive property control, citing her deceptive transfers as financial misconduct. We started building a timeline, texts, call logs, cash withdrawals. Jasper's fingerprints were all over it. Malik even found out Jasper was still legally married. Apparently, Jasper's wife had been quietly documenting her own war. Malik reached out to her attorney. We traded notes. Formed an alliance. That's the part Delilah and Jasper never considered, how betrayal builds. Bridges between the betrayed. We prepared everything for the day she'd make her move. I knew it would be public. Delilah needed an audience. She needed a moment, so I let her have it while she planned her big declaration. I signed a postnuptial agreement enforcement letter and filed for dissolution of marriage based on infidelity. It included an affidavit, signed, notarized, time-stamped, detailing everything we'd uncovered, and I wrote her a note. Just a few lines, in my own handwriting, something quiet, something final. A show deserves a curtain call. Consider this yours. I folded it carefully and tucked it into the envelope with the rest of the documents. Clara and Malik reviewed every word. We rehearsed the sequence like a scene, because that's what this was, wasn't it? A scene she thought she had written, but the script had changed. The closer graduation day came, the calmer I became. That's how I knew I was ready. I stopped checking her location. I stopped watching for signs. I just let her drift further into her illusion. She would walk into that celebration thinking she held all the cards. She didn't know I'd built a new deck. What struck me most during those final days was how unaware she was. She hummed while cooking, still used my name when talking to Sierra, still kissed my cheek, absent-mindedly. Maybe part of her believed I'd crumble, that I'd break in front of everyone. But what she didn't realize was that I'd already done my breaking. In silence, in private. In the hours spent staring at her back as she slept, knowing I was no longer in her dreams, the moment she stood up to deliver that toast, I didn't feel anger. I didn't even feel sadness. I felt release. Like watching the final piece of a long plan click into place. Her hand brushed Jasper's under the table. She thought that was her boldest move. She had no idea what bold really looked like, because while she was rehearsing a speech, I was preparing the final act. Not with venom, not with rage, but with numbers. And numbers never lie. Sierra's name echoed across the rooftop like a benediction. Summa cum laude, the announcer said, beaming. Our daughter stepped forward in her crimson gown, eyes bright, smile shy. The kind that still made me catch my breath. My hands came together instinctively, clapping with a father's pride, not a husband's pretense. For the last 26 years, I had given everything I had to two things, my marriage and my daughter. One failed me. The other saved me. That day was Sierra's. The sun poured over the rooftop, casting gold on her hair. She posed for pictures with her classmates. Delilah had chosen the venue, always partial to high